It's late in the evening of the 19th of June 2011, and the crew of ORBIS 1 have finally made it to Ulaanbaatar, the capital city of Mongolia. Over the next 3 weeks, the 30 permanent ORBIS staff will join 25 international volunteers and local Mongolian medical staff to save the sight of over 150 people. But perhaps more importantly, the teams will share their skills and techniques with hundreds of Mongolian medical students and professionals. They will also be passing on their knowledge to one lucky actor. I'll be joining these amazing people in Mongolia for the chance to see their work firsthand.
Our volunteers are very different than a lot of healthcare organizations because not only are they great clinicians and surgeons, they're very gifted trainers. Our goal is not to come in and show off. Our goal is to come in and show how. And I'd much rather focus on the number of doctors we're going to train. Our goal is to train 150 ophthalmologists on the latest skills that are sustainable and transferable during this 3 to 4 week program.
This is a DC-10 like no other. ORBIS 1 is a fully operational flying eye hospital. It contains a 45-seat classroom, laser and treatment room, operating theater, an ICU, meeting room, and audio-visual control room. It's a union between two incredible fields of human endeavor. Aviation meets medicine in this hospital with wings.
All right, come on in then. Got the captain seat there for you?
Oh, yes, for me, is it? Great,
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Oh, wow.
So how old is this aircraft?
This is the oldest DC-10 left in world flying.
Is that right?
It first flew in January of 71.
Right.
So it's approaching 41 years old. We're basically self-contained.
Right.
If you look at all the ground equipment out here, we carry that inside the airplane.
Yeah.
It even runs off our own jet fuel.
Yeah.
So most ground equipment's diesel powered, but some countries you go to don't even have diesel.
Right, sure.
So we actually modified it. We connect up into the wing where we normally refuel, and we run off of our own fuel system.
Wow.
We have a water purification system.
Yeah.
We have our own oxygen generators, makes our own oxygen.
Yeah.
So throughout the airplane, there's a lot of modifications that were over and above what an airplane has, of course.
They are totally self-reliant with regards to power and resources. Back in the classroom, one of the 19 onboard cameras projects an operation already in progress.
This plane is a vehicle for service delivery, but also training. So literally during the day, this classroom will be filled with 48 people.
Right.
We'll have lectures in between the surgeries, and they'll be asking and they'll be moderating with the surgeon. Jonathan will be mic'd.
Yeah.
You can ask him a question now if you'd like. Dr. Song, tell me a little bit about this child, and he'll talk you through the steps. He's with his hands-on trainees now, and what's kind of interesting, they're kind of the two big forces of pediatric ophthalmology, and it's the mother and daughter. Right. So their whole, all they talk about all day long is pediatric eye care. And so we'll be giving, training to them during this case. So he's actually explaining.
I mean, he's literally teaching in the moment.
So he's actually explaining. Right. And we can pan out. Gangadhar, can you show the OR? So basically, this is Dr. Song,
right,
and this is his trainee, Dr. Singh.
Yeah.
She does adult cataract. He's trying to go through and showing her some of the nuances.
The eyeballs grow?
Exactly.
They do.
Yes.
So they do get an increase in size.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Well done, you. So
it'll be the only good question I asked today.
Surgical simulator. This is the eye.
As we move through the plane, there's the laser room, the surgical simulator, the operating theater, ICU, and of course what no hospital can live without, teddy bear storage.
I have about 700 pounds of teddy bears on this aircraft. I mean, these little bears are just all over the world. I've given out this particular bear in probably probably about 18 different countries.
Since 1982, Orbis One has visited more than 88 countries, trained thousands of healthcare professionals, and effectively saved the sight of millions of people. It's a nomadic way of life for the staff of Orbis One, some of whom are on the road, or rather in the air, for up to 50 weeks a year.
A lot of these guys, they have 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks holiday a year, and they give it up, their vacation time, to come and do this.
Coincidentally, many of their Mongolian patients share the nomadic way of life. In some parts of Mongolia, it appears little has changed since the height of the Mongol Empire in the 13th century. The horse remains the preferred mode of transport, and the herders move with their animals in the seasons. Mongolian houses are known as gurs. Their felt walls protect them from temperatures as low as minus 50 degrees Celsius in the winter to plus 35 degrees in the summer. Mongolia, though, is in the midst of massive change. There is a great movement of rural people to the cities. Enormous coal, gold, and copper mines are bringing the financial resources for development and infrastructure. In Ulaanbaatar today, old and new Mongolia sit side by side. The key to Orbis's success on any mission is a partnership with the local hospital and staff. This is the Mother and Child Hospital, and its ophthalmology department is led by an extraordinary mother and child team. The two women literally wrote the book on Mongolian ophthalmology.
We have prepared about over 100 patients, and after that about 40 patients were selected by surgery by ORBIS's wonderful ophthalmologists.
The women have arranged for hundreds of potential patients to be screened for surgery. It's straight into the deep end for the Orbis staff.
Basically, for our normal screening day, we had 2 volunteer faculty members who could not make it. So we've had to adjust the Flying Eye Hospital schedule to accommodate their late arrival, not due to their fault by any means, but nonetheless their late arrival so that they could see their patients. So what you see here is a split down the hallway of pediatric cataract and strabismus, and then down this way is retina and ROP, which is retinopathy of prematurity. As you can see, there's not even chairs for the patients to sit. So we have one of our volunteers who's going around and pulling beds from rooms that are empty, and we're bringing beds in and pushing them up against the wall so at least that the children and the mothers have some place to sit, because they're going to be here for several hours. As Hunter always says, we play jazz music at Orbis. We never play classical, so this is jazz, and we're just kind of going with the flow and getting it done.
Hopeful parents and their children are here from far and wide.
The idea of losing your sight is unimaginable in any situation, but if you live in a remote area in the middle of nowhere, losing your sight is nearly a death sentence.
This family, the grandma, mother, and her little girl, are nomadic herders. They have traveled more than 500 miles for the chance of getting her daughter's sight restored. Her name is Bias Galan, and she is 6 years old.
50% of the time is true what we call congenital cataracts, where it gets passed on. That's the majority of type of cataracts we see. So parents pass it to children in 50% of the time.
She is cared for primarily by her grandmother, simply because her own mother is almost totally blind.
We check the mother. Mother has a very dense cataracts, so she will need surgery eventually. So we'll do cataract surgery on the daughter, and then mom will be probably seen next week by the adult surgeons. They're coming in next week on the Orbis, and hopefully we'll get her surgery too.
Cataracts are a clouding of the lens. The name is derived from the Latin word for waterfall, symbolizing the way water turns white. Orbis ophthalmologist Dr. Tisha explains.
I think it's hard to imagine how people see through cloudy lens or cloudy cornea, but we try, right? So imagine that if your lens is not clear anymore, but I put this, like plastic bag, if you have cataract, This is how you're gonna see my face. You know, it's not clear line, right? It's not sharp.
The next case is a little boy. His name is Monksholt. Don't be fooled by the pigtails. All Mongolian boys wear their hair this way until they are 2 years old.
Archer. What? What is it? Archer? It's an arrow?
Yes, by using archer.
So he hit him? Let's go ahead and put him on for Thursday then. Mainly because he has good potential in that eye. And that scar is pretty below. So we should get his vision back because it happened at 17 months.
Which slot? That was.
So let's put in a second slot.
Second is that. Remember that one with the
Archery, along with horse racing and wrestling, are Mongolia's most popular sports. One only needs to visit a competition in action to see the reverence and cultural importance of this ancient pastime. Scores are sung back to the archer by the brave officials standing directly in the line of fire. So the probability of accidents seems quite high. This is Kassadin, another little boy. He has very dense bilateral cataracts. He is almost totally blind. Once again, the pigtails cause a little gender confusion.
See how she changed? She turned. There you are. So she's using 4 of the other senses. Maybe 5, I don't know. And there. See how she went for that? Yeah, it's sound. She knows that it's there. Yeah, beautiful. You're beautiful. Can I have it?
It's also good news for him.
Can I have it?
He's the right age and the right case for surgery.
Thank you.
Who's this? Oh, that is Kasadina. So today we have a surgery at the local hospital here, Mother and Child Hospital, and now we're preparing the patient for surgery today. Here is going to be a better place for the trainee. We try to use their own equipment because when we leave, we make sure that they can continue doing the same surgery. That's our objective.
An implant on one eye, and I will just... Right eye? Right eye. So we check to make sure that the mark is on the correct eye. Yeah? And sometimes it's nice to keep talking to him while he's going to sleep. At least then he hears something nice from you. And remember, to help the surgeon, you want to have this position nice and horizontal. So I think he's a little bit like this, so I'm just going to change his head a tiny bit like that. Yes? Okay. And then this position is nice and straight.
The problem with this child, he has a congenital cataract. And the congenital cataract occurs 50% of the time we don't find a cause, but majority of the time it's passed down from mother to child. And the big problem is that the visual system is developing. If you get a cataract, it blocks light rays as well as images into the retina, which is a direct connection to the brain. So no connections form in the brain, and that becomes a big issue because the child will not see if we don't take out the cataract early. And the lens should not be white. The lens should be clear. And that middle should be black because the back of the eye is the dark area. But here, because of the cataract, it's all white. And this is what's blocking the light. And our job is to remove that lens, and we're going to place it with an artificial lens inside the eye. And hopefully that will stimulate the connections again and for allow the child to see.
Out at the airport, it's time for Bias Galan's surgery. I'm a bit nervous, so she kindly walks me onto the plane.
I don't have any special socks on. I've only got my socks on. Things like this.
She's very talented. She can sing too.
I heard that. Yes, I heard
She
you
sing
got.
like a Mongolian song.
Yeah.
She's a little bit shy, you know.
Yeah.
Today she
Well,
didn't bring
there's lots of
her.
people here, maybe more people here today, and then lots of cameras around here. 'Cause it makes me shy.
Yeah.
I know I wouldn't want to sing.
Yeah. Would you like to sing?
Oh, my darling.
Why don't we sit down and give her an autograph?
Boradak bumbaga borodishan korda dandana magududak awa chamagitende nure putunga hunchin nire kille dogoch sundurga tudache Tusungi ne zot bal zwei Beilda.
And you're just about, so you're doing 3 today?
Yeah, we're doing 3 today.
I go and get scrubbed up or whatever I have to do. I want to come in and watch, yes. And thank you very much.
Today, the surgery will be performed by Dr. Jonathan Song and our Mongolian trainee surgeon, Dr. Sengelmar.
You're both doing surgery. So it's a family operation. You pass it on. That's fantastic. Were you performing surgery before I watched you?
Yeah.
Well, that was fabulous. Well done. I was incredibly impressed. It's amazing. Yeah. It's a real honor to watch. You have? Oh my goodness. Now I've seen your surgery. I've seen your films as well. I think your films are better than my films. Well, shall we?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'm very ready.
Mask.
Yeah.
Get in here. Mask.
Okay.
The surgeons will make tiny incisions into the eye. The clouded lens or cataract is broken apart and removed, and then an artificial lens is inserted. All of this is done while the surgeons peer through microscopes.
Give up just a little bit more, please. Give up. Give it up. So that's the cloudiness.
So you're just going to get rid of all of that now?
Get rid of all that
Yeah.
and put it and make it dark again.
Right. Yeah. Beautiful eyes she has.
Cut a hole in it, then I can cut it out. Now we're going to break up the scar tissue.
Break up the scar tissue and remove it.
And then remove the scar tissue.
Right.
And open up the iris.
Right.
Like this, so we can put our artificial lens between. Yeah, we're going to remove a lot of it.
And you
open
kind
up
of just
the middle.
break it up?
We break it up,
Right.
correct.
And that little tool has a kind of almost a little...
Correct. It's a little guillotine that will cut it as we're sucking it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a little...
Mine here is a tiny piece of it.
It's a tiny little, it's a what we call 20 gauge. So it's like a little shot when you get a needle that's 20 gauge needle.
Wow.
That's what's the size of that. So now I'm going to use that incision I made initially just to put in the lens.
Right. Oh, right, the bottom one, the top one is right. Right.
The lens is in its place. Shorter. 1/3. Good. So now the lens is inside. Yeah, now I have to close that wound there for the lens through, or it's going to leak. Then once I close that off, so this is this.
ORBIS is one of those organizations that are taking their help and their work directly to the people who need it. It's as simple as that. I mean, there's no better way to describe it. There's a great need for this kind of surgery and for people, for doctors around the world and surgeons around the world to be taught this kind of surgery. It's relatively simple. There's no need for children to be suffering from this.
While Bias Galan is waking up, Munksholt, the little arrow boy, is being prepped for surgery.
Well, let's leave her alone because she just wants to recover.
All has gone well for our brave little patients. It remains to be seen if their surgery was successful. Cassidy, who was operated on at the hospital, is the first to be examined.
I'm just going to take off this. I know. See, if you want, You see, the little boy's now following the light pretty well. And so, obviously, and see, even without the flashlight, there seems to be better visual tracking, which is great on the first day. I know. And then if you look at the pupil's now nice and black, which is meaning that it's clear. So the surgery was a complete success in getting the cataract out of the way and getting a new lens in its place. If I cover this, it's not as strong. See how quickly he finds that light? And so the good news is that the cornea is completely clear. All the cataract is gone. This child's been without good vision pretty much since birth, and the eyes were trying to find good visual input. And so hopefully, with the cataract surgery and the new lens, the child will be doing much better as far as following the vision. I'm very, very excited with how well the little boy's doing.
Kassadin takes a window seat on the Orbis plane and sees the blue Mongolian sky for the first time in his life.
This is sort of like one of those life experiences I wouldn't miss out on. It's a miracle. I mean, you're actually sort of giving people their sight back.
The next day, there are more miracles to follow. It is now time to remove the patch from Bayaskalan's right eye.
I'm sorry. That's it.
Bayaskalan and her grandmother, it's the moment of truth.
Let's try. This one. Oh, very good. This one. I'm happy because this is the first day after surgery, and first day after surgery there's a little bit of inflammation. That's normal, and her vision before surgery was counting fingers. So basically she can see maybe only like 2 feet from her eyes, but now you can see this is like 6 meters.
All our patients are doing well. Monk Schultz will be more careful in future with his bow and arrow. Kassadin has his sight back, but hasn't lost his love of music. And Bayaskalan, although still not feeling great, does her best to put on a brave face.
Orbis are just basically saving people's lives and changing people's lives every time they turn up in a place like this. They're not just going in and sort of performing miracles and leaving. They're actually going in and passing on this knowledge and passing on this their techniques so that people can continue to do their good work.
Of the many things I've learned here, one staggering statistic stands out. Of the 40 million people who are blind worldwide, approximately 80% of them suffer needlessly. Millions could be cured right now because their blindness is caused by conditions that are easily treatable or even preventable. Beyond that, when you give one child their sight back, you give them color, clouds, games, their mother's face, the beauty of the landscape in which they live. You give them their life. In my own small way, I'm proud to have been a part of it. It's been a privilege to watch these brilliant people at work and also meet just a few of the lives they've changed forever. My experience has made me wonder why we tend to dwell on the bad and the worst people can do. Perhaps it's time we celebrate a little more when human beings get together and do the right thing.
We are very happy, and we all together would like to our graduate team appreciation ORBIS team and everyone ORBIS team, especially Dr. Jonathan Song. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
산 절레 행이 친내 엉태 저러렁 헐려러 서요